Hello all, welcome to another session in this course. As part of this session, I am going to cover the next topic, that is using length and for loop with arrays. This session is a continuation of the previous session where I covered about what exactly are arrays and how to access the elements from the arrays using the indexing and all. Now let's continue about arrays using length and for loop with arrays in this session. So let's get started. So what exactly are arrays? I already have covered this in the previous session. In JavaScript, using arrays, we can store multiple values or elements into a single variable. Okay, I already have covered this, what exactly are arrays and with practical demonstration in the previous session. Now, if you want to find, okay, if you want to access the elements in the array, in the previous session, I have used the indexing concept of the arrays to access all the elements of the array. Now, I'm going to use or I'm going to show you how to use traditional for loop for accessing all the elements of the array. How? Let me show you that practically. For that, I'll open this Visual Studio Code. So if you remember in the previous session, I covered about the arrays. So this is what exactly is an array that I have covered in the previous session. This code is from the previous session only, where I'm storing multiple values or elements into a single variable, which is called as an array. Okay, this is how we can create arrays in JavaScript surrounded by square brackets and all. And if I want to access all these elements of this array with the help of the index of this array elements, I have accessed all the elements of this array. For example, a of 0, array having the index 0 is the first element. Array having the index 1 is the second element, will get retrieved and printed here, right? Like that, a of 0 to a of 7, all the elements of the array, a total 8 elements are there. First element will have the index 0, that is 5 will be printed, and index 7, a of 7, the last element of the array got printed. But here, for each and every element of the array, I have used this indexing concept, right? That's correct. So what I am going to do right now here is, instead of writing this many print statements for accessing each and every element of this array, instead of printing like this, what I can do here is indexing starting with 0 to 7, right? So what I will do here is, I'll just write for loop. I'll create a for loop. I'll show you how to use a for loop for accessing all the elements of the array. Here also I'm going to use the indexing concept, but I'm not going to write all the several print statements here. Rather, I'll write the for loop, starting of the for loop, ending of the for loop. Here, let I is equal to, let's assume that I stands for index. You can give any name, any variable name like B, C, D, E, F, anything you can give. Here I'm giving I stands for iteration or something. Assume that. The first element index is 0, right? So I'll give 0. Semicolon. I less than or equal to, okay? Let I is equal to 0. I less than or equal to the size of the array minus 1. Total elements are 8. 8 minus 1 is 7, right? So I'll give 7. Okay. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll give 7. 0 to 7. 0 to 7 means 8 elements. Index 0 to index 7. Like that. Okay. I plus plus. Like this, I'll write the code. And here I'll print out console.log a of square bracket. Here, instead of manually giving a number like 0 or something, I'll just give I here. Okay. In place of I, initially I is 0, right? Initially here I is created and initialized with the value 0. 0 less than or equal to 7 is true. We'll go inside the for loop. And here I is 0, right? So A of 0 means this 5 will be printed. Then I'll become 1. I plus 0 will be incremented by 1. So I will become 1. 1 less than or equal to 7. So after 5 got printed in this for loop, then I became 1. This became true. 1 less than or equal to 7 became true. We'll again go inside the for loop and A of 1, that is 10, will get printed. After end of this, we'll go here and I plus plus, I will become 2. 2 less than or equal to 7 is true again. We'll go inside this, A of 2 is 15. 15 will be printed. Then I plus plus I will become 3. 3 less than or equal to 7. A of 3. That is 20 will be printed. Then I will become 4. True again. 4 less than or equal to 7 is true again. We'll go inside that. A of 4 is 25 will be printed. Then I plus plus I will become, okay, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I will become 5. This is true again. A of 5. A of 5 means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 will be printed. Then I will become 6. True again. 6 less than or equal to 7 is true. A of 6. A of 6 is 35. 35 will be printed. Then I'll become 7. 7 less than or equal to 7. Equal to 7 is becoming true. So A of 7 is 40. 40 will be printed. Then I'll become 8. 8 less than or equal to 7 is false. 8 is neither less than 7 nor equal to 7 will come out of the for loop. So this is how all the elements of the array will be printed with the help of the traditional for loop. Okay. So here also I'm using the indexing concept in the traditional for loop also I'm using the indexing concept to access all the elements of the array. Okay. So this is the logic. Now let me prove that all the elements of the array are getting printed here. So for that, here I'll just run the code like node array hyphen demo dot js and run it. You see all the elements of the array got printed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay. So this is how we can print all the elements of the array. Here, tomorrow, if I add few more elements, let's say 45, 50 if I add, and if I run this code, okay, if I run this code, will all the elements of the array are getting printed or not? Let's see. Okay, I increased the number of elements in the array by 2, and here I less than or equal to 7 is still there. Now, if I run this code, you see 5 to 40 are only printing. What about 45 and 50? Are they getting printed? Up to 40 only it's getting printed because here 7 is still there. When I increase the size or number of the elements in this array, the for loop logic need to be manually changed and we have to change it to 9 here manually, right? Have to change it manually to 9, then all the elements of the array like 50 will be printed. What if I remove last 3 elements and if I run this code, will this work? You see undefined, undefined, undefined is coming. Up to 35 only should be coming. Because I removed, right? Removed the elements. Here the logic is still 9. So I have to change it to 6 or something, then it will be okay. Manually, I need to keep changing the value of the condition here. You see now 5 to 35 is working fine. Again, if tomorrow if I add 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, now this will not work. Okay. Up to 35 only it's printing. What about the remaining elements of the array? 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65. Dynamically, I am not able to use this traditional for loop to retrieve all the elements of the array. When the size of the array changes here, this for loop is not properly working. To overcome this problem, dynamically, if you want to find the size of the array and iterate through all the elements of the array, here I cannot fix this number with 6 or 9 or 7 or something, right? What I have to do here is, I need to find the size of this array. How to find the size of the array? It's very simple, guys, okay? To find the size of the array, we have to use something known as length. The name of the array is A, right? A dot length. Okay? If I say A dot length, this will find the size of the array. Okay? This will find the A dot length will find the size of the array. How many elements are there in the array? It will find. Okay. So here I'll just run this and you see the first number is nothing but A dot length got printed. That is 14 elements are there. Total 14 elements are there. So here in the for loop, what I have to write? Let I is equal to 0, I less than or equal to, okay, A dot length minus 1 I have to write. Okay. If the size of the array is 14, then the last element's index will be 14 minus 1, that is 13. So A dot length minus 1. Okay. A dot length minus 1. I less than or equal to A dot length minus 1. Or you can also write I less than A dot length is also fine. If you don't want to write -1, you can write I is equal to 0. I less than A dot length. Okay. So If you write equal to, I have to write a dot length minus 1. If I don't want to write, I less than or equal to, I less than only, if I have to write a dot length is fine. So this will find the size of the array, that is 14, and that logic I am using it here. Okay, a dot length logic will find the size of the array, that is I less than 14. I is equal to 0, I less than 14 means up to 13 only, right? I'll comment this part which is printing the size of the array. Now, no matter how many elements are there in this array, all the elements will be printed, guys. Okay, I don't have to manually change the traditional for loop logic here, with some hard coded value or something. Just give the a dot length, it will work, it's going to work fine. Okay, if I run this, you see, no matter how many elements are there till 70, 5 to 70 got printed. If I remove most of these elements, if I remove till 40 only, if I keep and run this, only up to 40 only it will be printed. You see, only up to 40. If I increase up to 50, it will work till 50 only. You see, I don't have to manually go and change the size of the array here. Okay, so this is nothing but the size of the array, guys. I less than a dot length. A dot length is the size of the array. You can write like this if you want. You can actually write like this the code. Let s is equal to, s means size of the array is equal to a dot length. Okay, like this if you write, and here I less than s you write down. Okay, that is also fine. Both the things will work, guys. Okay, or you can directly write a dot length here, or I less than s, or okay, I generally prefer directly writing a dot length here instead of creating a separate variable and writing it here. This will make more sense for me. Okay, no matter what is the size of the array, all the elements of the array will be printed with this logic. I is equal to 0, I less than a dot length is the logic using which I can retrieve all the elements of the array. I can iterate through all the elements of the array using the traditional for loop. So this is the significance of this length, how to use length and traditional for loop with arrays in JavaScript. So hope guys, you understood how to use length and for loop with arrays in JavaScript. So that's all for this session. See in the next session where I'm going to continue the concepts of array with remaining other concepts of the arrays. So in this session I only covered about how to use length and traditional for loop with arrays. In the upcoming session, the remaining topics of the arrays I am going to cover in this upcoming session. So that's all for this session. See you in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.